This episode of the Community Workbench podcast is brought to you by Matt Norn, Remax Bell Park. For all of your real estate needs,
I know that guy.
please contact me because Community Workbench is not paying bills.
He's okay. He's okay at what he does.
Contact me at 860-428-6534 for any of your real estate needs. My dreams is your job. Oh, this has been great.
Or any needs in general.
Anyway,
It's been really tough. Any needs, please call me.
welcome to the Community Workbench. This is Matt Norton and Kyle Morrissey. We are your hosts of the #1 podcast in my basement. Every week, we bring you small business entrepreneurs, community leaders, charities, and pretty much whoever we feel like talking to. And this week, for some reason, we feel like talking to American Legion Ambulance Chief of Service, First Responder Paramedic Will Jeffs. Hey, Will.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm glad Beyonce
pleasure.
canceled the appointment with you, so pencil me in. I know it's really tough getting into here on the #1 podcast here in the basement. Yeah.
Hey, we're booked through June. Okay.
You charge the hobos to sleep in the car? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, that's how we make rent.
I respect that. I do. I tripped over one on my way in. Almost had to call an ambulance.
When you're getting up from your own cot. Oh, well, I'm glad you're here.
Thanks for having me.
Glad we can finally
Pleasure.
have this.
It's a pleasure.
Now,
I've listened to every episode.
We
How many
know
do we
that's
have?
not
Yeah,
true.
Three or four? What are we up
3 or
to now?
4.
3 or
Yeah,
4. Yeah,
you-
heard them all.
You
They're
got another 10
fantastic.
minutes to
Yeah.
fill, and then we're good.
But seriously, thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
So one question I usually start out with is how did this all come about? I mean, you're what, a day younger than me or 364 days younger than me? I'm 83. You were 84 or 83?
83.
You're 83. All right, so you're a day
Day
younger than me.
Day younger.
Day younger. I knew we played golf around
Yeah,
that time
indeed,
too.
indeed. I think our moms were holding hands actually at the same time. It was close.
Um,
We went to the same school together. Didn't even know it. Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah, I didn't. I think you were the kid that picked on me all the time. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been in basically a first responder since graduation? Since
No,
before
yeah.
graduation?
A couple of years after. I've been in the
Couple
EMS
years
probably almost 20 years now. Almost
and
20 years.
and why donate your entire adult career to first responding?
I did a lot of drugs when I was younger. Poor life decisions.
I
is
knew
what
we'd
it
get to the
comes down
nitty gritty here.
Yep, did a lot of meth. Meth is bad. Don't do crack. No, so when I was 17, actually, you guys got like sad music you can play. You want
Yeah, the violin. It's
Yeah.
We have not
Some like
licensed
American-
any
shoulder here.
music
Get some
yet. for
American
the
Idol stuff
CWB.
going on. I don't know. So, when I was 17, my father passed away. I was there with him. It was a rough experience. It had nothing to do with me getting the EMS. I just trying to get you some ratings here. With but, had absolutely nothing to do with it at all, actually. But ladies love it, so I tell that story often. So he passed away. My uncle actually came to live with us for a little while, and he was the old chief actually of Moosup Ambulance.
Oh,
Yeah, he was
wow.
the chief a long time ago. And I do remember times where he would take us down to the garage, and he was a volunteer at Atwood Hose Fire Department, and show us the trucks. And I didn't really have an inkling at that time. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't even know what I wanted to be when I grew up, when I graduated high school. So he moved in, and he actually started the process, got me an application to the local fire department up at Atwood, and I put the application in, and it kind of just started from there. I started as a firefighter, a first responder firefighter. I didn't really want to do anything with EMS that I knew of. Then I realized quickly that 90% of the calls we do are EMS calls. Yeah,
like
so
medical calls.
I'm like, well, I'm just I'm here to direct traffic, or I'm here to help, but there's not much I'm gonna do because I wasn't qualified to do anything at that time. So right out of my Fire One Academy, I went right into my EMT. I took Richard Sanders' class at QVCC. You ask anybody who became an EMT prior to like 2010, they'll tell you they became an EMT through Richard Sanders down at Quinnebog Valley Community College. He had the classes all the time. So I ended up getting that, and then I said, I enjoy doing this. I'll never go paid. And then 5 years later, I went paid. And a couple of years after that, I said, this sucks. But I can't stay. You can't stay an EMT your whole life. So I decided to take this either, take a step up or get out. And so I became a paramedic. I've been.
What does it take to become a paramedic? What, is it college?
Yeah,
Is it
so
classes?
the paramedic is I believe it's like 200 something hours. It's about 16 months of school and then another 6 months or so of clinical time in the hospital and ride time, things like that. So depending on what program you go through, there's a certain set hours that the state requires you to do, but then the school has a certain stipulations that they make you do too. So you've got clinical time, you've got school time, you've got to pass all that, and then you take the national registry test and you pass that, and you become to go to community workbench and do podcasts. This is my life goal right here. I'm going to retire tomorrow. There's nothing else I can achieve. So. There's nothing else I can do at all.
Thanks for that
Yeah.
plug. Makes me feel good.
Maybe I'll buy a house. I don't know. You got that Matt Noren's number? I don't know. But that's what got me into it. Yeah.
Getting
That was the
on
whole
this
thing,
platform.
yeah.
Yeah.
Here I am. But I really enjoy it. They say, laughter is the best medicine, and it really, when it comes to what we do, we don't do a lot of big emergencies. So just being there and helping somebody going from point A to point B, and just giving them someone to talk to and be with is really some of the best medicine you really give. So that's why I enjoy what I do, and I work for tips. So yeah, that's why I'm broke. So that's where we're at.
What school did you go to
Which time?
for paramedic?
So I went to APES, the American Professional Educational Services, down at American Ambulance. So I was a volunteer for Moose Up Ambulance way back when. We're talking 18 years ago. I started my volunteer ambulance career at Moose Up Ambulance. I got my first full-time job, or my first hired job, at Mortlake when Vintech went there, and then KB Ambulance. I went full-time at KB. That was my first full-time EMS job. When I decided to become a paramedic, though, nobody was paramedics around here. American were the only agency that had paramedics, so I decided to go down, take their paramedic class down there, and I ended up applying and working for American Ambulance while I got my paramedic, and I worked for them for a few years. And then when KB decided to become an ALS organization, I came back up here and helped them with their paramedic licensure, and they became the premier ALS agency in this region. They're doing a phenomenal job up there, and I went back to American, believe it or not, for a little while, and then I got a call from Moose Up Ambulance asking if I'd come down there and help run the show. So just kind of full circle.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Wow.
Yep.
Now, do you know why the Moose Up Ambulance is affiliated with the American Legion? Do you know what
Well,
that's for?
Most ambulances actually are affiliated with the American Legion.
Oh,
most,
really?
Most of the
Okay.
ambulances were established by a Legion. KB Ambulance was established by an American Legion post. I don't remember.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
American Legion Post 91 at a Moose Up. Griswold was an American Legion ambulance. So all these ambulances were actually established by the American Legion. And so we were established in 1948 is when
Wow.
the Legion came up and decided we needed to service the town of Plainfield, and they came up with some funding. I think the ambulance cost $100 back then. Really,
Oh, my goodness.
it was crazy. And then back in the late 90s, the organization broke off from the Legion and became a nonprofit run by a board, and we've been running that way ever since. So we're just American Legion by name. We have no affiliation to the Legion anymore. Most ambulance organizations don't have an affiliation with the Legion. So it's our roots, though. It's not something we would ever forget or anything we'd ever get rid of. We still do have some American Legion members on our board that help make decisions, day-to-day decisions. So
Yeah.
they're strong, strong root to our community.
Yeah. I mean, you brought some
Yeah,
black and white pictures
the
here.
originals.
I don't know if you want to
Indeed.
explain that. That one.
Yeah, so these were three of the. Apparently, I had to ask some of the old timers here. One of the guys that was still on the board, but these are some of the three of the originals that founded the American Legion with their first ambulance that they got when they were on Ward Ave and Moose Up. So that was the first garage, and that was the first ambulance.
That was $100, huh?
Yeah, it was not very expensive.
It looks like the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, isn't that nice, right? Yeah,
The
that's not too bad.
Ghostbusters ride.
Yep.
That's
So back then there was only a driver. You never even had a tech in the back. It was just somebody driving you. They'd pick you up, they'd put you in the back, they get in the front, and they drive you to the hospital.
That's it.
Wow.
Simple as that. You know?
Quick and painful.
Is that or the hearse? Yeah, 'cause
Quick.
that's what it used to be.
Oh,
I mean,
Well,
the hearse just
kinda
evolved
looks like
slightly
Yeah, just
into a
just
little bit.
a little bit. Yeah, I think I'd be a good Undertaker. I don't know. Yeah,
I
I'd
think
do
with
well.
that hat and
Yep,
your
yep.
look, absolutely.
Yep. But one time, I'm not going back to jail. We won't talk about that.
Jesus. That's crazy. And so, are you certified in just Connecticut? Is that how that works?
Licensed.
Licensed, certified. I'm sorry. There's a difference.
Yeah, there's that big.
Yeah, certifications like below.
Yeah.
Below.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Heard.
Okay.
You don't have a driver's permit, a driver's certification. You don't have a driver's license, mister.
Oh, okay.
No,
Sorry.
the difference is I pay $180 a year, and EMTs don't pay anything. No, I was, and I will be again. We have what's called the National Registry, and once you get that, you can go to different states and apply for their reciprocity. So I used to be in Rhode Island. I used to be in Massachusetts. Now I'm just Connecticut because I decided I hate them, and I don't ever want to go back to those states. That's a true story.
You actually sound like
scare me.
realtors.
Yeah, they scare me.
Realtors that practice mainly in
Yeah.
Connecticut,
They're-
a lot of them dislike going to Rhode Island
Yep.
and Mass
I-
because they just
I avoid it like the plague, especially because I married a woman from Massachusetts. Yeah. Been paying for that one for a long time. Love you. Yeah, yeah. Love you, dear. I married her for money.
yeah. Yeah, we refer to Rhode Island as the Wild West
Indeed.
when it comes
Indeed.
to rules and regulations of real
absolutely.
estate.
Oh, and
Absolutely.
EMS, forget
Yeah,
it.
forget
They're
it.
Yeah.
rules. They didn't even
Yeah, with
have
the
rules.
rules,
They
yeah.
created their own
Yeah.
level
Now,
out of thin air
you practice paramedics
in
in
Massachusetts. Yeah.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, I was a cardiac in Rhode Island.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Stop.
What is
But I actually took that while I was in paramedic school because, of course, Rhode Island doesn't give a shit, so
Correct.
they let you just. Oh, you're in paramedic school. Oh, you could take this once you had gone through, your IV training and stuff like that. And so I
Just
took it.
helped you along.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with
Got a
that.
pay
Yeah,
raise while
exactly.
you're going through
Exactly.
school.
Yeah.
So
and
yeah.
cardiac is another level up?
Yeah.
nope,
No.
down
from
from
EMT,
down
yeah.
from par. Yeah, it's the middle level.
Yeah.
National Registry calls it intermediate.
Yeah.
Oh. So goes MRT, EMT,
EMT advanced.
EMT advanced,
Yeah, and then paramedic.
then
Yeah,
paramedic. But he had cardiac.
because Rhode Island's
That's
dumb.
Rhode
Oh.
Island.
yeah.
That's what I mean. Rhode Island created out of thin air.
That's the Union Fire Department's right there.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
that's
what it
that
is.
Yep.
Huh. That's wild.
Yeah.
And then you were mainly in Boston for eight years.
Yeah, Boston and then Milford.
Who'd
Yeah.
you run with?
I ran with private ambulance company Alert in
Alert,
Boston.
yep.
Yeah, so we did.
Mhm.
We had the VA for a while, and then we had Boston 911, and then we lost the VA, so they closed.
Yeah.
And then I mean that's private ambulance for you.
That's 100%.
And then I went down to Milford and they did Milford Hospital, and then we had similar to KB around here.
Mhm.
We didn't have a fly truck, but we
Intercepted with
supported
the ambulance,
with
yeah.
like Upton, Sutton, all those smaller towns that don't have they just have
Yeah.
fire service. So
Now, what's the difference between, because an EMT and a paramedic usually ride in an ambulance, right?
Yes.
And
As
then-
opposed to what?
So, like an EMT would drive for certain calls,
Mhm.
and a paramedic drives for certain calls because they're in the back.
you
There's a
that's actually
there's-
you're
good.
pretty well
There's a-
educated on this
Yeah.
process.
There's a patient, like
Have you
as
done
a
homework? Good. This is good. You looked this up.
I've
in
been
the
hanging out
bathroom?
with you and Eric for what? Ever?
You were in the bathroom for like 45 minutes. Is that what you were doing? Were you just looking up like EMS regulations? What is
No.
the EMT?
No,
Yes.
but I will still go on the record as I am as ill prepared for this as I was my first day of school. Just how we run this podcast.
So the state of Connecticut, actually, we became what we call a national registry state just a couple of years ago. So we used to have what was called an MRT, a medical response technician. But since we joined the registry and we're with a lot of other states, now we have EMRs, emergency medical responders. They're our R1s, our first responders, essentially. A lot of fire department members are EMRs. They can be EMTs too, of course, but most of them are EMRs. It's basically it's first aid. That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
basic first aid with oxygen. Is
Are they
kind of the
trained
best
in
way to
CPR?
put it. Yeah,
And,
trained in CPR.
I'm told you
Yep.
got to train them to just park the ambulance. In the right spot.
Yeah, gotta be good ambulance drivers to be at EMR. That's right. No women. No,
Yeah,
I
we were
went there.
talking.
Yeah,
We talked
I
at
went
length
there.
about getting canceled
Yes.
for this
Yes,
episode.
this is the one. This is the one. Absolutely.
It was such a
Yeah.
good ride.
Yeah. We had fun.
20 episodes.
Going out
Yeah.
on the bottom,
Had fun, boys.
the
Yeah.
bottom of the barrel.
We had one paid sponsor coming in. It was a milestone. He was coming. It was a milestone. It was a milestone.
Was that the Matt Noren? It's not
No,
that.
no,
Oh,
I don't
okay.
pay. No, but we had our one paid sponsor coming in next week. We were going
Is
to
it already next
run
week?
their ad for 2 weeks, and you may have just loved it. For us. It was great.
I'll come back next week. I'll fill in for him. I'll give
Well,
you
he
the
wasn't going to
$10.
be here. I was going to read their ad.
I'll give you the $10 he was going to give you. It'll be great.
Not
It'll
far
be
off from that.
fantastic. Yeah.
Not far off at all.
Yeah, if anyone wants to advertise, it's super cheap.
It's a Sharpie marker on the bathroom wall. That's all it is. It's fantastic.
So you've seen our invoice system.
So Connecticut's got a system. So in Connecticut, to be considered a legal crew for an ambulance, you need at least an EMR and an EMT. Now, this is for a basic life support ambulance, so what we call a BLS ambulance. You can have 2 EMTs, but you need at minimum an EMR or an EMT. For an advanced life support system or an ALS ambulance with a paramedic, it has to be an EMT and a paramedic or 2 paramedics. You can't have an EMR and a paramedic. So Moose Up, we are a BLS service. We're a basic life support service. So we have EMTs. We do have a couple of EMR drivers. They're boys. Don't worry, they're men. No women. Just kidding. I have 5 women. We do have some EMR drivers. They're fantastic. They really are. But they can't do as much to the scope as an EMT. So it gets a little, it's a little tougher. An EMT always has to be in the back with the patient. Always has. You can never have an EMR in the back. Where if you have an ALS system with a paramedic and an EMT, and it's not an ALS call, the EMT can ride him back and the paramedic can drive. If it's a BLS call, if it's an ALS call, then the paramedic is in the back and the EMT drives. So it's a good system to save money, so that you're not paying for 2 paramedics on what could be just a BLS call. So it is a good way to do that.
And it makes a difference on what you charge.
Yeah, correct.
To the insurance or patient or
Yeah,
whatever.
the state sets those rates also. The state gives it every year. The state tells everybody in Connecticut how much each individual department can charge, and everybody's different. It's not one and the same. Everybody charges something different. I don't know how they come up with it. I don't have an answer.
But
for
the
that.
state dictates,
The state
like
dictates
what you
all of that,
specifically
correct.
can charge,
They
and then
dictate-
KB can
Yes.
charge something different.
No, the state dictates the maximum allowable bill that I can send to a patient.
Okay.
So if I'm allowed to say, $500 just randomly, if I transport a patient, I'm allowed, my maximum allowable bill to send them would be $500. The end.
Right.
Everybody's a little different.
Right, and everybody has to follow that.
Correct.
But every state is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Now that makes
That's why ambulance companies go out of business,
Mhm,
because
correct.
they could
Some
bill
people
for
are hurting, and
garbage,
I could
yeah.
bill for that 500. Doesn't mean I'm going to get that 500, right? Because some
Right.
people have different insurance, and some people don't have insurance. Then you have things like Medicare and Medicaid, which they don't even know what that bill is. So
Oh.
yeah, they laugh at that.
Yeah.
So,
And then when there's a paramedic in the
Mhm.
back working on you,
Correct.
the bill goes up.
correct.
The
correct.
limit goes up as
Correct.
well as to
well,
what the
it
bill.
Exactly.
should in theory.
Yeah, I do good work. I'm the world's most okayest paramedic. We charge for that.
We heard about
That's
that.
absolutely okay.
Your face is everywhere.
Yeah.
The world's most okayest
we
paramedic.
do it nice because we do it twice. Yeah. The motto of American Legion Ambulance is, hey, at least we tried. That's what we go with.
Isn't it like do no harm?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. Sorry. At least we tried, but we didn't do any harm.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. And right now the state Medicaid doesn't pay anything. So anybody on Medicaid, you're doing great. Medicaid doesn't pay really anything for ambulance rides, and so they just proposed a big budget increase for Medicaid that the state of Connecticut just cut out of their budget. So no more money for ambulances again, unless that
Oh,
gets changed. Yeah.
So you can charge all you want, but
no,
but
yeah.
Medicaid never pays it.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, Medicaid doesn't pay.
No,
that.
it's like
Yeah, federal
insurance.
government, Yeah,
Yeah,
federal
they can bill you. You can
Yep.
bill the insurance company $500 for that ride. The insurance company says we think it's worth
Yeah.
$17,
Yeah.
and literally that's
Yeah.
what they'll pay is $17.
Here's your $2.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then, if a Medicaid patient is in the back
Mhm.
and you bill Medicaid,
Well, you just
they don't want to pay it.
Medicaid will pay their $20
Now,
for
do
the
you
ride.
charge the patient?
No, nope. You can only send one bill. No.
yeah.
Medicaid pays it.
Is it
yeah.
a gamble?
Yeah,
We're
just-
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'll send it to the client.
No, you have to. You
Yeah.
can't bill the patient
Nope.
if they have Medicaid.
Yeah. Yeah, bill
yeah,
Medicaid.
So that's why you just try not to take Medicaid
Yeah.
patients. But what are you gonna do?
Wow.
Yeah. They're going to start looking for insurance cards before they get in. Like the old school.
They do it the doctor.
Yeah, it's going to be $150 for the ride. Cash check.
What's your what's your
right.
co-payment? Just
Venmo.
put it right here.
Yes, yeah, co-payments, that's right. And actually, I didn't know this. This was fairly new to me. Some insurance companies don't actually have ambulance rides covered under their insurance policy in general. Ambulance rides aren't actually covered under their insurance policy. I thought that was
Right. Well,
that blew my mind.
if
Like,
they don't cover it, then you
I
don't
mean-
get
I mean,
paid.
things
They
like-
don't have to pay
Well,
you.
no.
Blue Cross Blue Shield. And
No, if
Top
they
Dog,
don't, if
they
they
don't
don't,
pay
if
some-
they don't cover it,
Yeah.
you can bill the patient.
Yeah,
But a lot of these places won't bill the patient. So
You just told me that you couldn't. You
No,
could only
if-
bill once.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. So if I bill you and you have insurance, but your insurance doesn't cover an ambulance ride, that bill goes directly to you.
right,
So you are
you can't get paid
responsible for
twice.
all of that.
You can't get paid.
Oh.
Yeah, you
but
can't
if
get.
the insurance says we'll pay you $17, then
That's
everybody's off
all
the
you
hook.
get.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Well, no,
Yeah.
the ambulance company's on the hook for quite a bit.
Hey, bro.
Usually, those are the ones. It's like the longest ride. It's
Yeah.
like 4 hours,
Yeah.
and you're like, this cost us
that
like
mileage.
$3,000.
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
jeez.
So it gets tough. It does. It gets a little dicey.
Yeah.
It does.
And as chief, what do you?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Say that again. No,
Chief.
oh,
William
shivers.
Jeff.
Mufasa. Yeah.
So, what are like your responsibilities as far as the day-to-day runnings of the Moose Up ambulance?
Babysitting.
Yeah.
I just
sounds
have
like
just a-
sounds like the
yeah.
Community Workbench podcast every night.
Just a glorified
Well, that's
babysitter.
your job.
I know
Yeah.
exactly. It is my job.
Keep the peace between the fire departments and the ambulance
Uh.
corps, and no, it's just the day-to-day operations. You know, the financial operations, making sure the ambulances are running, and making sure the lights are on and the people are paid. That's really what it comes down
So
to.
you cash the $17 check, or does somebody
Well,
else?
I need to get paid. Somebody got to pay for my Happy Meal.
I don't know if that'll cover it.
yeah.
Not today.
Not anymore. Right?
Pretty expensive
Yeah.
over there.
No, I do. I do the day to day, and I'm still on the road. I do the second crew calls. So we have a crew on 24/7, and then we do a second ambulance during the peak hours of the day, usually around 8 to 4, 9 to 5. Because Plainfield it's a busy town. We cover Plainfield and all of the boroughs: Warwick, Central Village, Moose Up. We also cover Sterling and Oneiko, which
Oh, wow.
yeah,
That gets
it's
far out
kind
there.
of distance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those calls could take a little longer. So we do 2,400, 2,500 calls a year. So it gets a little busy. So we decided it'd be best to put a second ambulance on to cover those busy times. It's worked very well for the towns, not so much for the organization. You know, it costs a lot of money, but the people are doing phenomenal. The townspeople are doing great. The organization's doing great, getting out there and helping people. So you know, you can't really put a cost on that until you have to. You know,
Until
you
the
have
bills
to,
come in to
correct.
keep the lights
Correct.
on.
So you don't have a choice.
Hey,
That's-
we
that's what
can't
it comes
charge
down
the
to.
batteries tonight.
Yeah, guys, no lights tonight. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
No,
I know
you
We're out on the
cold in here.
road.
Yeah. Use the heat blankets. It's cold in here.
you guys use KB for ALS, or you?
So we're split actually, which is kind of funny. We're split 14 north and 14 south. So, you know, 10 years ago, American Ambulance again was the only ALS organization in this area, so they covered everywhere. But the northeast corner has what they call NECOG, the Northeast Council of Governments. They control the ALS contract. So towns like Putnam and Thompson, Eastford, Killingly, they all pay into this program for this ALS coverage,
Mhm.
and every couple of years, an organization would bid for it and get that contract. So American had that contract for a long time. So it didn't really matter the 14 North, 14 South. We'd always have an American medic. Since KB had taken over, now we're split between two organizations. Now anything north of 14 is KB, anything south of 14 is American. So it's gets a little tough. But so we're split between the two ALS organizations when it comes to calls.
Does American run paramedic intercept as well, or do they?
No, they bring the ambulances from Norwich. So if a call comes in, we'll say in Plainfield, south of 14, and they have to send an ALS ambulance from Norwich to come up and try to make that intercept. For the most part, wasn't too bad because we going down to Norwich and we'd intercept with them. But now that they opened up the Plainfield Emergency Care Center, 5 years ago, most of our patients, 82% of our patients go to Plainfield, honestly. So
It's a specific stat.
yeah, I had to look
Yeah.
that up. I too could spend 45 minutes in a bathroom. I'll tell you what. Yes, that's not just Facebook. Just
Cheers
Facebook
to
I'm
that.
looking at.
That's how we do
right.
it. That's how we do it.
For those that don't know,
Yes.
an intercept is when
was
one
thinking that.
ambulance. Yeah. So when the paramedic ambulance is meeting the basic level, the BLS support ambulance that has the patient, the paramedic ambulance will meet them anywhere, somewhere along the way, and they'll put a paramedic in the back. They don't move the patient. They'll put the paramedic in the back with their equipment, and they'll drive to the hospital, and then they'll both go to the hospital together.
And that's because the EMT has identified that the
Yeah.
Correct.
the risk to
They
the
know.
patient
Yeah.
is, or the injuries
More than they
Correct.
need
Exactly.
more than
Yeah.
they can do.
More
Yeah,
than
they
they're
have.
trained for.
There's
Exactly.
protocols that the government puts out. The Office of
The
Emergency Medical
government,
Service.
like
Yeah.
the government.
The government
Yeah,
tells you you
the
can only do
government.
this much,
Right.
and then we do a little more.
yeah.
But as a paramedic, you can apply medicine, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And EMT can't. Is that
No,
true?
I mean, they
Well,
have some.
baby
They have
aspirin.
some, Yeah. They
Oh,
have some,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Baby aspirin saves lives. Absolutely. Baby aspirin is the best thing you can have. But yes, yeah, they have 2 or 3 meds, Narcan. That
Oh, they can do Narcan?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. My mom can give Narcan. Okay. I'm just saying. So yes, EMTs can give Narcan. My mom. can
Your mom has
administer
no
Narcan.
certification? Is that what you're
They
saying?
don't
That's
have
what
to.
I'm saying.
They introduced Narcan for lay people now.
Absolutely.
You can get it from CVS.
You can get
In
it from
fact,
a vending machine for free.
big towns or cities that struggle with like Fall River, you can just go get it, and to try and combat the opioid epidemic,
Oh, wow.
and it's
We're gonna need a longer podcast for that. We're gonna need- we're
Is
gonna need more
Narcan a
time.
shot? Is it
no,
no.
it's
Introduced-
nasal.
Yeah.
It's a nasal.
It's a
thing.
fluid
I didn't know that.
liquid.
Yeah.
With a little atomizer
You just
that.
drowned them with it.
No.
Hopefully they come
You
through.
could, yeah. Well,
It's like
opioid
Afrin.
doesn't come- yeah, that's exactly what it's like. Absorbs through the nasal passage.
I'm not
yeah.
sure what Afrin is
Yeah.
either.
I'm not surprised.
That's not the kind of nose candy he used to.
Well,
Yeah, we carry something like 70 different medications. We have cardiac monitoring as a paramedic. We can do EKGs and identify heart attacks, STEMIs, if we call heart attacks.
Intubation.
Yeah, intubate appropriately, unlike those Rhode Islanders.
Yeah.
I
Well,
went
that
there.
sounds like it has
I
a
went
story
there.
behind
Yeah,
it.
I went there. We get intubate.
And intubating is when you stick the tube down a throat, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
You're used to that?
Breathe for the patient. Yeah. Not like you saw on TV. Not like that video you showed me earlier. A lot different. A lot different.
This was the content I was talking
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're there.
Yeah. Don't show that video. Don't show that
28.
video.
28.
But there's a lot of things we can identify and do as a paramedic that an EMT isn't trained or hasn't been trained to do. So that's why we would intercept with them. So our dispatch center has a certain set of guidelines they follow, where if somebody calls 911 and they say the the keywords, chest pain, difficulty breathing, altered mental status, things like that,
Please.
they would start that. Yeah, send help now. They would start the ambulance and then a paramedic automatically. But sometimes you get somebody, Graham's not feeling well, and the fire department or the ambulance gets there and they say, well, Graham's dead. So there's a reason she's not feeling well, and they start a paramedic that way. So then we would intercept as far as that goes.
So that's an EMT can say whether or not someone has passed away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's correct.
And
Yep.
and then at what point would you say, or who even makes the call for a chopper?
Oh,
Whoa,
Jabba. Get to the Jabba.
now we're getting to real money here.
That was actually a big point of contention probably 7 or 8 years ago.
Oh yeah.
That was a battle. If you wanted to see a fight, that was a good fight. So the hospital had changed their protocols to say if the fire department or the ambulance wanted a helicopter, they would have to call for permission from the hospital. That didn't go over very well for
Every
anybody.
hospital? Like
No,
like
no, you'd
hospitals
call
in general?
Yeah, they're
like
med control
Worcester. Yeah,
hospitals,
you'd call
Oh, you-
Worcester
yeah.
where.
I
Yeah.
don't want to.
Yeah, we got to talk about the med
I don't want to
control
throw out any
situation.
names, but
Yeah, well, we just gotta
Yes.
talk about the like what the idea behind med control is.
Yeah, because we're licensed, we have to operate under a license with medications and advanced level of care. We have to operate under a doctor. Is essentially what it comes down to. So it's actually kind of funny because of the helicopter thing. It split our towns into two different med controls. So yeah, it is quite humorous.
One that you would call all the time, and
Correct.
the other one you would
Yeah,
never
be like,
call.
what doctor's on? Let's call them today.
Hey, that's yeah.
Wow.
When they came up with that policy, when hospital came up with that policy, a lot of the fire departments did not like that very much, so they left. They said, we're not doing that. We're going to go to somewhere else that will let us be EMTs and
Make the
know
call.
exactly know when a helicopter needs to come and when they don't need to come. The last thing you want to do is take a power away from a fire chief. That's not one thing you ever want to do. So
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
see. It is expensive to put them in the chopper and have it coming,
I don't-
so I do get
Oh,
that.
I
But
do too.
but now you're dealing with like patient lives,
Correct.
right?
I
And
understand the thought process behind it was people were calling for everything.
Right.
Essentially, you get to an accident, and these cars are designed nowadays to crumple. They look bad, but
Oh,
that's to
so
take
as soon
the
as you
blunt.
get there, there's
yeah,
a
you're
little
like, "Oh my
panic.
God,
Oh, there's
get
no
to the
way we're not.
chopper."
Yeah.
Yeah, Arnold's out. Get to the chopper. Yeah, so people are calling for helicopters, and the patient's walking around like nothing happened, you know.
Oh,
But the chopper's here, so we knock him down and we put him in the helicopter and say, "Have a nice ride." Whee-oo!" Nobody ever cancels the helicopter. We only start them. So there was a big. So I understand that was the point behind it was because we were what they felt were abusing. I'm going to say abusing that system to the point where people were getting billed these large insurance bills for not really a good reason. So, and instead of saying, "Hey, guys, let's get an assessment first. Let's make sure we get some vitals," something along those lines. Let's call the helicopter for a reason versus, "Hey, that car looks bad." They just said, "Anytime you want a helicopter, you have to call us." So that put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. So
And I would imagine if you're calling someone, you have to explain
yeah, exactly.
everything.
Exactly.
all the
Yeah, and it
vitals,
gets
Exactly.
challenging.
assessment that you're
Exactly.
taking.
It
Yep.
gets
You have to
challenging
convince 'em, yeah.
because and it gets challenging because you want to start because they're essentially ALS Intercept by air but on steroids, like right. Nobody goes with them; they come with their own staff,
That's true.
and the challenge is you want to start them as early as possible to
Right.
save this person's life, but it's like a catch-22 because
Right.
they get there and it's like, oh, he's a broken leg.
Yeah, correct. That's exactly, yeah.
Right.
And the helicopter, they are actually they're higher trained. Is I like to I like to say call for the adults. So when the ambulance gets there and it's a rough call and they need help, they call for the adults and the adults go and I get there and I say I need to call for somebody more adultier. That's what it comes down to. So what do I call for? I call for the helicopter. They carry blood products. They carry things kind of reverse bleeding or anticoagulants. So they carry a lot of different things that we don't carry in this area. So
Oh, wow.
they do make a big difference, and they have the potential to make a really big difference when they do come. They really do. So
they can
they're-
do like blood
Correct,
transfusions
Yeah.
in
So
the
they-
air.
yeah.
But they don't. But they roll with sometimes a doctor. They roll with a nurse. They roll with people that are higher licensed,
Wow.
but also paramedics.
correct.
Yeah.
correct.
So.
So they are good. They are a specialty service, that is for sure.
Yeah.
And people were feeling like they were getting abused. Not necessarily them, but people
Right.
who had to pay those bills
Right, right,
were
right.
getting So they decided to come out with that, and a lot of people didn't like that. So it kind of split the town. Some towns went somewhere else, and so we have two different med controls. We have a med control out at Day Kimball Hospital, and we have a med control out of Bacchus Hospital because those are our two closest facilities.
Yeah.
So those are the two hospitals that are kind of taking control. So KB Ambulance, their med control doctor is out of Day Kimball Hospital. American Ambulance's med control doctor is out of Bacchus. So
Yeah. Why did I think as a patient, you got a choice as to what hospital you go to.
You
I mean,
do, to an
a-
extent.
Yeah, you do to an extent. You do. I mean, so when you call 911, it's an emergency, right? That's what we
Right.
say. So any emergency, you want to go to the closest facility. That's really what it comes down to. So if you want to go to a hospital that's 20 minutes away, where the closest facility is 5 minutes away, there's got to be a reason or a discussion or something to be done for that to happen. That's all.
Right, right.
But there's always an option. You as a patient, you definitely have rights, right? It's your right to say, hey, I'd like to go to Bacchus, right?
Yeah.
Versus Day Kimball.
Yeah, but then
So
you're gonna have to answer to that to the med control doctor on why you skipped this hospital
Yeah,
and went
why-
to
why
that
are they
hospital,
here? Yeah.
Well,
especially
Mhm.
if the patient has a poor outcome.
Maybe it's just I've had an elderly family member live here in
Mhm.
Brooklyn
Mhm.
where they always gave him the choice.
Mhm.
Maybe just because Brooklyn's like 15
Yeah, I mean,
minutes from both hospitals.
yeah, exactly. You think about
so-
Day Kimball versus even Wyndham, Day Kimball, Wyndham, or Bacchus and Norwich before Plainfield was even here. Those three hospitals are close enough to say 15, 20 minutes away
Yeah.
from each other. So there
Yeah.
really would be an option to say, I want to go to Wyndham. It wouldn't be a stretch to say, okay, let's go. Versus, I want to go to Hartford. Like, well, now I got to pass 7 hospitals to take you to Hartford, So that's where that discussion really comes in. And then you take an ambulance out of service for 5 hours.
Right, yeah.
You have one ambulance servicing the town of Brooklyn, and he wants to go to Hartford Hospital, and that's a 2-hour trip that way, 2-hour trip, traffic and whatnot. So that's a
Right.
big
Yeah.
discussion.
Then you got to answer to that. When
Correct,
another
correct.
call comes in
Exactly.
and you can't go to it and
Yeah,
it's bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then they have to do mutual aid, and then they start. All right, now we get calculating times if the ambulance
Yep.
was still in town and not in town, and
But there's always discussions to be had as a patient. You can absolutely advocate for yourself to say, all my doctors are down in Norwich. I'd like to go to Norwich, or the procedure I had was down in Norwich or up at Day Kimball or whatnot. And you could always advocate for that. A lot of people don't like to go to Plainfield because they don't admit patients because they're just,
Yeah.
they're in the emergency
just got to get
room.
back into
So-
the ambulance
yeah,
and go to Bacchus.
Exactly. Like,
I
wanna go to
love
Bacchus 'cause I
the
wanna be-
Bacchus
Yeah.
emergency
They're
in
phenomenal.
Plainfield.
They're phenomenal.
Yeah,
the
they're
facility's like clean and
Yeah.
new
Yes,
and just
yes.
like.
But have
everybody,
you
like- and you're in and out quick.
have you
Yes,
well
that's
have
a
you
great-
been there though? And then they're like, we want to admit you.
Yes.
They put you back in the ambulance,
Mhm.
drive you down to Bacchus, and then
Well, if it's that bad, then I guess.
So that's
just
what it
leave
comes
me
down
there.
to. Like,
I'll die. Right
You
here.
see that green bin out back? Just put me in there. Yeah, that's a great place for me.
I don't feel like it'd be that conversation.
But then you have to wait for an ambulance to come
Yeah.
from Norwich to pick you up, and then you'd have to wait for a bed. So it's a
If you've ridden in an
Sure.
ambulance as a patient, you would understand getting in and out. It's a different ballgame.
and then you get
Yeah,
billed.
Right?
Think
Yeah.
about the bills,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's two. Yeah. If you took an ambulance there
Mhm.
and then another one,
Mhm.
that's
To the-
two. Yeah.
To the other. Oh, all right. So
Yep.
that's wild that Bacchus can do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because then they would be able to bill you.
Well, Bacchus
Mhm.
isn't doing it. Bacchus doesn't know they would call somebody like
A commercial ambulance.
right
service.
to do it, and then you would get a bill from the commercial ambulance
Mhm,
company for
correct.
the ride from Bacchus outpatient to the hospital.
But my point is that a hospital can have multiple locations that don't offer the same
Oh, absolutely.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now because of that, you have this like extra charge
Mhm.
Yeah.
going between
That's
the
accurate.
two.
That's
so,
yeah.
so I guess if you're really struggling to where you think you might be
Mhm,
admitted,
Correct.
you'd probably
Some
want to
people
go to
say,
the
"I just wanna
hospital
go
that
to
does
Norwich."
that.
If you
I
can
wanna
make
go
it,
somewhere where
So
Yeah.
that
that'll make.
happens a lot.
if you can make it
Right.
there, right? I mean, you
I'm
don't want to.
still in the
Yeah,
mode of.
right.
We are
you
not
gotta-
giving anyone medical
Oh, yeah.
advice.
I forgot.
Call 911.
I should have
Yeah.
wrote that note
Just
down.
call
Call- if
911.
you
Yeah.
are injured,
Yeah.
Take none
Call
of this.
911.
Well, we've-
Take none of this is medical
we picked-
advice.
There's a medical center behind the Plainfield ER, and we've taken patients from there down to Norwood. We're in the parking lot of the Plainfield Emergency Care Center, but we've taken them to Norwich because Plainfield doesn't offer certain services that they need at the hospital.
Yeah.
What we call, that care. So
Hmm.
we've done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
like you're so close yet so far
Yeah.
away.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see you guys. I'm gonna wait as I go by. And one thing I can't stress enough, and I really want to stress this. I'm gonna stress this a lot. Plainfield, emergency care center is not an urgent care center. A lot of people think.
Oh, what's the
Plainfield-
difference?
between an emergency
no,
room
they're
and
an
urgent care
ER.
center? Check your bill.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, they're an ER.
That's correct.
They can treat way more. They
Yeah.
just don't admit because it's a freestanding ER.
But if you're going to if you want an X-ray or something like an urgent care, and you go to Plainfield as an ER, you're going to get an ER bill versus
Yeah.
urgent care bill, a $50 bill versus a $500 bill. Those are two completely
So
different things.
I thought they just renamed what
No.
an ER was.
No,
They did that.
two completely different things.
Oh
That's
God.
wild.
You
I
are
can't
what's wrong
stress-
with America.
Yes.
You.
Why? I'm not in the medical field. Why would I
Reason
know the
I can't stress
terminology?
it enough.
Why
That's
would
why
I know
tell
the
you.
terminology?
That's why I wanted to bring it up because I can't.
That's
stress-
good.
There are urgent care centers in Plainfield. Dave Kimball's got an urgent care center down there, but Plainfield is an emergency room. You
Yeah.
charge
Plainfield Bacchus
Yeah,
is
Plainfield
Yeah.
an
Bacchus
emergency room.
is an emergency room.
Yeah, and then an urgent care is
It's like a doctor's office essentially. You know, it's a
Okay.
Walk in.
more
yeah.
advanced. Yeah,
Like a
more
walk-in.
advanced walk-in. Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
huh.
Yeah. So sniffles, sneezes, flu-like symptoms, go to the urgent care. You know, you're dying. I think the ER is a good choice.
Okay.
Can't breathe, go to the ER. Absolutely. Chest pain, go to the ER. But, broken toe, call 911. Call 911.
Wow.
Like that, one of your 5 listeners is going to be like, well, that guy in the podcast said.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes, yes.
Maybe this is a little crass, but if you're getting your medical advice from a podcast, maybe you
Yeah,
deserve
look-
what you get.
Yeah.
No, that's
Especially-
for, I
Wow.
said it was going to be
Yeah.
crass.
Especially for what I'm getting paid right now.
It's true.
I'm sorry, but I just this. This is more of a talking point to go do more research if you really want to know more.
Yeah, I just wanted to have
no,
the disclaimer because
Yeah, definitely a disclaimer.
there is always somebody
that's
that's
just
gonna
what, like,
say,
it sounds.
"Well, we're gonna get a message that says, guys, I did what you told me to do."
Yeah.
I say,
it's
Matt,
like-
I'm gonna let you take this one.
I don't think you have that many listeners to worry about it. But if you do, if it does, in 20 years,
Call
when
tech
this-
support. Call tech support.
20 years when
He was
when this comes
he
down.
was a paramedic for almost a decade.
Based on how many hours I worked, yeah, it was a decade.
I'm glad you got out. Yeah, you don't look a day over 21. You look great. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
I'm actually
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, yeah.
Every gray hair. It was from every stair chair.
Yep.
Or
I'm only 16. I'm doing great.
High stress job, you think?
It could be at times, right?
At times.
I tell you, we don't get paid for what we do. We get paid for what we might have to do. That's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah.
Because you could have shifts where you don't do anything. You could have shifts where you do a lot.
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to. And it's at 0 to 100 at any given time. It gets tough, right? That stress is crazy.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can go 364 days and not do a single thing. Who knows? And then that one day,
You got to
boom,
be on
yeah,
your game.
pow, there it goes.
and- yeah.
Right? Yep.
core memory for life.
Yeah,
Right
yep,
there.
yep, there it goes.
Wow.
Yep.
You like working under pressure like that?
No, I hate my life. No. I fold like a lounge chair. No.
Yeah, that's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Your chief folds like a
That-
lounge
yeah.
chair.
You know what they say? Those who can't do teach. That's where I'm at.
911 dispatch.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll send American Legion ambulance.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm good.
I saw that podcast. I'll survive. I'll pick up my arm.
I'm gonna
and-
walk.
Yeah. I'll pick up my arm. We'll drive to Plainfield. It's okay. Didn't he say that was an urgent care? Hold on. What did that guy on the podcast say? No, it's tough. Yeah, no, I don't mind the adrenaline when I was younger. It was great, right?
Yeah.
Adrenaline junkies, and you do have adrenaline junkies, but I'm too old for this shit. Just became I came off the road a little bit, but I realized the desk is definitely not for me. Oof, being
Oh,
in an
yeah.
office, oh my god, so horrible.
Especially when there's like
Oof.
all this action
Oh.
around you, right?
No,
you know.
no,
No, you're okay with that.
babysitting. There's so much babysitting around me. Yeah, no, everybody's going out on call.
Yeah.
Doing their thing, and I'm here behind the desk. I'll be here when you get back, guy. Like the puppy dog at the window, like, oh, go gamble. Oh, hit the siren. That's nice. I remember when I was an EMT. That's what I always say when I get old and senile, and that's what I look forward to. Believe me, yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna be the old man in the dirty old man. Can't just be an old man. Gonna be a dirty old man in the nursing home because I picked up plenty of those.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be in the corner screaming at people. It's gonna be great. Profanities at the nurses. I'm gonna be flinging poo at people. I'm gonna revert back to my monkey and just start flinging poo. Caveman drawings on the wall using feces. That's my goal in life, right
That's
there.
your goal.
That's
Be
it.
gotta have
prepared to
goals.
go to the hospital for
Yeah.
like every day
I'm
for
gonna call
you know
911.
mental
Oh,
reasons.
100 times a
You're
day.
gonna be the guy.
Yeah,
They get halfway to one ambulance. No, I want to go to the other one.
Yeah.
I said the other one.
I tell the young folk, I say, get ready. You're gonna be picking me up. I'm gonna call all the time. You pick me up, and when I was your age, when I used to do this, we used to have to carry him uphill both ways. Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah. Poo, fling
Sup-
poo. That's what you're getting out of that one.
Super posted.
I look forward to what I do.
The staff at your place,
Yeah.
is it all volunteer, all paid?
No, we have a couple
a
volunteers
mix?
left. They're awesome. I gotta say, I will say this. As much as I say I hate being chief, I don't say that, but if you're listening, boss, I love my job. Please don't fire me. I've got probably the best staff around. They're phenomenal. They really are. They make my job so easy. I got one rule, and it's funny. We were talking about coaching earlier and everything I've done. I've always had one rule in my life, and that rule is make me look good. I don't care what you do.
This will,
Make me look good.
we
It
aren't
doesn't
going
make
to
a
right
difference. And I'll tell you,
Yeah, well,
this
we failed
podcast
you.
failed. Yeah. Hopefully you can edit this, half of this podcast. It's going to be a 3-minute podcast.
We already know.
No, we don't edit.
Yeah. No, my God. Well, make me look good, but they do a phenomenal job making me look good. I'll
That's
tell you
good.
what. Yep.
That's good.
So they
and
are
you're
great. I
just
don't
bringing
remember
it down.
the-
Now they got to work extra hard
Yeah,
after this
yeah,
podcast.
yeah. Well, nobody's going to call 911 and Moose up, so it's going to be great. They're going to be lounging. They're going to be awesome. They're going to drive to Brooklyn to call 911. It's going to be awesome. We're going to go to that man's basement and call an ambulance. Maybe you could put us on a podcast. I hear he doesn't have too many more guests. What's the question? I don't remember what the question was.
Is the staff volunteer?
Oh, yeah,
mostly
yeah.
Volunteer,
So
or
we have
paid?
a handful of volunteers left, but mostly it's to this point.
Mostly it's
since
paid, wow.
since COVID, I'll tell you what, poof, everywhere, volunteerism is non-existent.
Yeah.
It does not exist anymore. The ambulance, especially, we used to pull our volunteers from the fire departments. That's where we got our volunteers from. They would go on fire calls like myself, 20 years ago. I'd see the ambulance. I'd say, you know what, I want to do that, and that's how they would pull. Moose Up Ambulance got its volunteers from the 4 Plainfield fire departments. That's how we did it. Can't find a volunteer at the fire department anymore. They just don't exist.
Wow.
Nobody wants to do it.
So firefighters or fire
Yeah.
departments are understaffed.
Absolutely, 100. They're just. It's not. They're just volunteer. There's not a lot of people willing to volunteer anymore. They pulled a lot of way back when. These old towns are all mill towns, so they pulled a lot of volunteers from the mills. A lot of these fire departments were built around the mill to protect the mill. That's why they exist. So their volunteers would come from the mill. They get a call in the middle of the day. The mill worker would leave. They'd go do the call, and they'd come back. That's how it worked. So now the mills are all closed. There's no mills that exist anymore. Everybody works out of town. They work out of state. There's nobody around anymore.
Right.
People are working 16-hour days out of state, and
Yeah, they
they
can't
don't
go
have time
for
to
a call
volunteer.
during the
Exactly.
day.
Yeah. And then now a lot of people who want to do EMS do it for a living. The last thing they want to do is come and do it for free. I do it 12 hours a day here. Why do I want to come over here and volunteer and do it for another 8 hours, right? So volunteerism is definitely at an all-time low. That is for sure. So,
Yeah, it seems like now they use it as a gateway to see if they like it,
yeah.
and then if they like it, they'll do it, and if they don't, they won't. And
Yep.
so you're at a loss. I guess if they like it, you're not at a loss. They'll stick around, but
People like me for some reason. So
it's
we do
very
pretty well.
strange,
Yeah, I
Will.
get it.
But
I pay him a lot.
Certainly.
I know you don't because you're a paramedic.
That is not true. Yeah, not true at all.
There's a limit to what you can charge.
Too bad you can't do that in life. And all, well, there's a limit to how much we're spending on, on this birthday party.
Yeah, you got a budget.
So I do classes. That's one of the big things we do to get more volunteers in. Is I teach EMT classes.
Okay.
That goes well. I teach EMR classes. We got and I picked up a lot of good people from those classes, just in general, people who've never done it before, said, I want to try it. They go, they enjoy my class for some reason, and they get into it. So I've got that's kind of our recruitment right there is just through teaching. So it works
Okay.
out pretty well.
So here's my question:
Mm.
Are you a licensed instructor or a certified instructor?
I'm a certified instructor.
Oh!
yes.
Is
Yeah.
there a licensed instructor?
No,
that-
not that I know. I mean, not unless
higher
I'm a
rank.
teacher. Maybe that's a degree. I'm not entirely sure. No. Connecticut, I'm my EMS instructor is what it's called. My EMSI. Yep. So I teach EMS. I have my AHA instructor, so I teach all avenues of CPR, ACLS, BLS, PALS. Anything that's American Heart Association. So I teach all of those classes. I am a QPR instructor, which is question, persuade, refer. It's a suicide prevention
Oh wow.
class. Yep, that actually a lot of schools do now. It's a very good class. Actually, it's probably one of my favorite classes that I had taken to become an instructor for. But
Is that how to negotiate with somebody that wants to commit
a
suicide?
lot of it's recognition. It's really what it
Oh,
comes down to. A lot of what we do is
Oh.
recognition. Even CPR. It's all about recognizing there's a problem.
That
So
they're
that's
dead.
what it is. Yeah. Hey, that guy's not. Let's kick him a couple. Poke him with a stick. Yeah, he's not moving with the stick. What do I do now? I don't know. Let's listen to the podcast. Maybe he'll tell us. Oh, he said call 911. All right.
We are 911.
Yeah. He said call 411. What's the number for 911? But that's what it is, to recognize, to question, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? Right? And then if they're not, to persuade them to seek help.
So this
what
is
QPR
before somebody
Yeah,
tells you I want to commit
yeah,
suicide, like to recognize
exactly.
the sign.
Or to see those signs where maybe there's some written messages or hidden messages, something along those lines, to see that.
Right.
So teachers are big for QPR because they're the first line to see if a child might have something going on, where it's work they turn in or something they're drawing, something along those lines, the way they're acting around their peers could have them question what's going on. So a lot of schools have an intervention that they've put in place where they bring it to somebody's attention and they intervene as far as just talking, and then they can take steps to see what could go on next. One of the big things I enjoy is we're part of the Plainfield's public safety group, and that's the Plainfield Public Schools, and then all the fire chiefs and myself and the police chief, and we have quarterly meetings, and we discuss a lot of the public safety aspect of what's going around in the community. And we do a lot of active shooter, of course, because that's very important. We do, we're recently talking about reunification drills, what happens after the shooter has been neutralized, what happens with the 300 students we have, what do we do with them, what do families are going to be, two family members for every student, so, that's math.
Yeah,
So
you
I-
know
Yeah.
they're going to the
Yeah.
school the minute
yeah,
they
every
hear it.
single one of them's going
Yeah.
to school, absolutely.
Right,
So
right.
and these are the things we talk about at that public safety meeting. And I can't speak for other towns, but I can tell you Plainfield does a phenomenal job. Being
Well
a part of that
equipped.
group is wonderful. I will say
Nice.
that.
Is that a meeting that's public that people
I
can see?
don't actually know. I don't know.
That'd
yeah.
be interesting to watch you guys in action.
Yeah, it's very
discussing
good.
that, you know what I mean?
It is some very good discussion. I tell you, we definitely have some very good discussion. I honestly hope other towns do have those meetings and have those discussions. Not necessarily active shooters, but things like QPR and
Right.
just the safety of the school it's
Yeah.
very important, very, very important.
Sure. Definitely. That's a huge community thing.
Yeah,
That's
right.
awesome.
Yeah. So I'm very. It's probably one of the things I'm most proud of, being in Plainfield with that. That's phenomenal. That's what I always say, that the school system is definitely caring and
Yeah.
really trying to prepare for the worst. They're doing a phenomenal job. They
Yeah.
really are. Yeah.
Yeah. In my career in the housing industry is Plainfield's always had this kind of stigmatism, and even did I say that right? No, that's not right.
I liked it. They had like
I
4
believe
or
that,
5 syllables.
yeah.
It was
It might be
pretty
right.
good.
Anyway,
No, it was good. Yeah.
even when my parents bought a house in '78,
I'm pretty sure most
they
of
were-
your viewers don't know what stigmatism is. I doubt they could say
Don't
it, let alone know what
insult
it
the
means.
intelligence of my
the-
viewers. That's
the
we
three
don't
po-
have many rules here, but that is one I will not.
the three podcast view. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. I'll
Hey, we get most of our views after, all right?
edit that out.
Are we even watching live?
Yeah, yeah.
I am, yeah.
I think I think half of them.
I
cut
knew
out.
nobody was going to tune in for Will, so it didn't matter.
I respect that. We have one viewer. I think I offended. I'm sorry.
Well, it's Kyle.
Yeah, sorry,
Kyle's
Kyle.
fine.
Sorry, I
Actually, I
offended
wonder
you.
if I watch it. Yeah, I might be the one viewer there.
Oh, where were we?
Yeah.
Oh, you were insulting my viewers.
Yes, yes,
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Oh, yeah, Plainfield.
Yeah.
I feel I have teachers from that school system. A couple of them were retired,
Yeah,
obviously,
born and
but
raised, right?
they were just
Yeah,
amazing
absolutely.
teachers. Oh, yeah, obviously, you
Yeah.
and I went through.
Yeah,
I had
we
missed-
were there together.
I-
You don't remember, but I was there.
No,
Yeah.
you didn't remember. I was like, well, Jess.
I didn't remember at all.
Yeah.
I had to pull out the yearbook.
So
I'm
the
like,
only
"Holy
class
jeez."
we ever had together was sixth grade math with Mr. Boyer.
Yeah.
And that was it.
He was your homeroom teacher, right?
Yeah.
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 Mine too. Yeah. He was.
I forget how that
yes,
worked.
yes. Yeah, yeah.
But then, yeah, I had the, seventh grade, I had, like Mr. Kenny and all them.
I don't remember. It was a long
Mr.
time
Kenny was
ago.
an English teacher. He was
A lot of
awesome.
drugs. A lot of
Yeah.
drugs.
Yeah, sixth, seventh, eighth grade
yeah.
drug
Lot of
career.
drugs, yeah. Born and raised in Oregon, if anybody's wondering. Yeah. North side. If anybody's curious.
But yeah, I always love the town and love the school.
Yeah, I agree.
My wife's from Brooklyn, so we moved to Brooklyn.
No, Brooklyn's beautiful now, yeah,
Brooklyn's
yep,
great.
Absolutely.
To a point, Brooklyn's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. Any town.
But
right?
every town
Any
has its ebbs and
Correct,
flows for
any
sure.
town, absolutely.
But yeah, it's just funny that Plainfield school system has always had that thing about it that people would shy away from
Yeah.
as far as buying a house or whatever.
Yep.
I mean, it's
I-
not like seeing you guys come out of there is going to make people go to
Yeah.
Plainfield.
They're like, we're gonna send our kids to listen to these guys.
Drink the water.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Point.
Kyle.
That is a solid
That's
point.
a solid point.
That is a
We're
solid
making it
point.
worse.
Yeah.
Oh, we have our first caller on the air. It's the mayor. Stop talking about my town.
It's for Selectman Kevin Cunningham. Whew. Hi,
And I've
Kevin.
met him. He is great too.
Yeah, I like Kevin. I really do.
So that's funny. The so where do you host these classes and how?
So right at the ambulance garage. Actually, we have an EMR class coming up. So one thing I created, and I kind of took this at Richard Sanders' momentum here. Richard left the college probably, I don't know, 8-9 years ago, a long time ago. And since then, there hasn't been like a regional class to say, where'd you take your EMT? It's been small classes at different fire departments, trained by different people, all trained differently. So a couple of months ago, I created this Eastern region, what I named it Quiet Corner Regional Training. And I'm trying to get all of us in Eastern Connecticut on the same page, essentially, is what it comes down to. Because we're all EMTs, but we're all trained differently, which if you go farther north or farther south, you could see a difference in the training, which I don't think there should be, And so with that being said, I created this to say, let's all train together. Let's be at the same standard, give the same standard of care, and it'd be a good standard of care, an okay standard of care at least,
Yeah.
to Eastern Connecticut. So I created this regional this program. So our first regional EMR class is actually coming up in April. So
Wow.
there'll be a flyer going out for that.
And you're trying to get all the instructors together.
Yeah, so
to
that's
train
exactly
the same way.
Exactly.
Have the
So
same curriculum.
that's exactly what
so
it
that
is.
it's more
Exactly.
uniform.
Because I did an EMT class a little while ago, and I had 10 students in my class, and then there's a class up in Putnam, and they had 4 or 5 students, and a class at KB had 4 or 5 students. We had all these students being trained by different instructors, trained differently to different standards, so to speak. But who's right, who's wrong doesn't really matter. They're all coming out of this class, going on to different ambulances, different, right?
Yeah.
And we should all be trained the same
Yeah.
to a good quality, a better standard.
So that's
really
what
it comes down to.
Massachusetts. So I got licensed in 07, and then 2010. No, maybe it was later than that. They went even a step further, and they made all of the schools had to be associated with a college. And so then they standardized the curriculum with the college, but you also got college credit. So you could come out of paramedic school with almost an associate's degree if you decided to take sort of the general education requirements along the way, which is
That is
fantastic.
fantastic.
Because that was like the biggest gripe I had is like you went through all this schooling for so long and
Got a
busted your
license.
ass,
Yeah.
and there was like that
No,
was it.
yeah,
And you're like, all right, well, what about people that want another path, even into the administrative
Correct.
portion, like you are, right? There was no path for that,
Mhm.
and so they did that, but they associate with the school. So even the one at QVCC didn't give you college credit, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep, that is
Wow.
accurate. Yep. But I know Eastern Connecticut does have an EMT program for one of their pathways that they do give college credit for, so that's good. So
Oh, nice.
some colleges are allowing that EMT to happen. Eventually, someday maybe I'll go back to QVCC and see if that's a possibility. I'd like to. Ellis Tech just started a CNA program, which I think is fantastic. They're
For
starting a
nursing?
healthcare track. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So I think if I could get eventually into Ellis Tech, maybe some EMR classes or EMT classes in Ellis Tech as a healthcare.
They'll let you back into a high school.
My parole officer said I just turned my bracelet off an hour before class. Actually, funny you say it. No, Thompson actually, Turtle Lot High School has a Pathway to Fire science program that they
Oh,
do up
nice.
there, and they do a great job with that. Jamie Sine is a local fire chief, firefighter. He works down at the Mohegan Tribe as a battalion chief. He has a organization. It's Back to Basics Fire Training, and he goes in there with his instructors, and they provide fire instruction and EMR training to, I believe it's 8th grade up through high school. Could be 9th grade through high school, but to anybody interested to follow a fire science path, whether they want to be a firefighter or an EMT, or if they want to continue that path, or they just want credits and they think it's a bird course. I don't know, whatever they want to do. But it's a great start to get programs into the younger generation to show them what's out there, because that's really what we lack, right? People who wants to be an EMT. Who knows what an EMT is? You ask
Right,
the younger
yeah.
generation. My 15-year-old son took my EMR class. He failed
Nice.
out. Loser. Gets his brains from his mother, apparently. Just kidding. Smartest lady I know.
Not really. She married you.
You are not the first one to say that. Son of a gun.
Lapse in judgment. Mere small lapse.
It's just for my gigantic personality. That's why. Just saying. I have a huge personality. Fill a room. Just saying. A womb. I fill a womb with my personality.
All right. Now we
on.
had a
Moving
commercial.
on.
I would
Yes,
cut to it
yes.
right now.
I hope it's one of those.
Maybe we do
commercials.
need that as a safety mechanism. I mean, we could cut to the black screen and just turn it off.
Will's fader. This episode is brought to you by.
Sexual harassment attorneys. Yes. Fantastic. Yes.
Brilliant. Just brilliant.
Jesus. So, speaking of pathways, is there a pathway? You go from EMT to paramedic.
Mhm.
Could you go paramedic to nurse easily, or is
So,
that not easy?
There are some bridge courses not in Connecticut. I think the closest one is Quincy up in Massachusetts. Actually, one of my good friends and coworkers, she just finished the bridge. We call it a bridge program, paramedic to RN bridge, and she is now working as an RN. So she just finished that program. It's an accelerated program. It's a lot of work. She did a phenomenal job. So yep, she's now a paramedic and a registered nurse.
So she went
Good with
to
that.
learn how to change diapers and then
That's it, because let's
not be
face it,
able
we
to
do all
do-
the important
yeah,
stuff
not be
already. Yeah.
not be able
Yep.
to do any of
Correct.
the skills,
Yep.
shit, the fun stuff, and now just
You can put a Foley catheter in like it's nobody's business.
oh.
So I've heard. So saw on TV one time. Yeah. I have a DNF, do not Foley, tattooed on me. So please do not.
I won't ask
where
you
is
what
it
Yes.
part.
tattooed?
No, you don't ask. PG-13, Kyle. PG-13.
That's what it would say, but there's just a D there. That's all they had room for. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So if I pass out under the table, don't follow me. Don't Foley me. But there is that bridge program closer where she was able to do that, which is fantastic.
There's a Excelsior does one, which is like an online
Mm.
school, and then they have certain places you can go for the practicum.
Correct. You go Midwest. I know Midwest is really big for that. You spend 2 weeks down west, and you do clinical time for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And
That's hard though.
that's tough.
Yeah.
I do a vacation 2 weeks away from the kids. Oh, sign me! I'm going to do that bridge just to do that. I hope I fail so I can do it again. Yeah. Sign me up. Oh my God, you haven't met my kids. I'm just saying.
I've met your kids.
I know they're the reason I drink.
And you'll be the reason they drink.
Yes.
I mean, continue the tradition, right?
I hate to break the cycle. I don't want to be that guy. No, but Gavin's going to Ellis. Yeah, his second
Nice.
year in
Nice.
plumbing. He's doing a phenomenal job.
That's great.
Yep.
Cool. I mean, nursing. Would you say that's a better path to nursing if they want to be a nurse,
No,
or is
not
it
at
no?
all.
Just go
No,
straight
skip
to
paramedic. Yeah,
nursing. Just go
skip
straight to
paramedic
that.
altogether.
Okay.
Absolutely, nursing's a good choice, but it all depends what you're looking for. Honestly, that's really what it comes down to. Two completely different career paths, So
Well, that was part of the benefit in Massachusetts of having the college credit is
exactly right.
you could double down and then make decent money still in nursing school, right?
Absolutely.
And so that was like the appeal.
hmm
So
A lot of the ones that paramedic nurses, they're the ones that want to fly. They go to Lifestar
Yeah.
or Life
Oh,
Flight.
okay.
Yeah, they're the ones that want to fly. They become
because they can use their paramedic skills and get paid way more money.
And so paramedic nurse, would that be an extra credential? Is that like a
No.
better
really.
credential.
No,
No,
not really.
just-
no.
No, in fact, the RN probably lessens
Yeah.
the
Oh, paramedics here. Oh, you're an RN too. Oh.
There's always a contentious relationship
I've-
between paramedics.
I've-
About that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we both know my cousin, and I remember him when he got his paramedic. He's like, since I have that patch on my shoulder, people actually take me seriously at the hospital. It's like
He taught me.
from
he-
from being in a
So I am who I am because of him. Take that for what that's worth. Yeah, just saying.
I can see that.
Throw that out there. Yep.
I don't know if he watches the show.
Probably
I know
not.
about it.
Probably not.
I don't know if you've ever told him that.
No, he's taught me a lot. That's one smart kid. Absolutely. But there's one thing we're really trying to push eventually is what we call community paramedicine. That's to have a paramedic come out, kind of like a visiting nurse, and take care of breathing treatments and wound bandaging, things like that. Somebody calls 911 because they're having trouble breathing. We get there and a breathing treatment, maybe some steroids, are all they really need. They don't need a trip to the hospital, something along those lines. We'd be able to treat and say,
So instead
call
of
us
a visiting nurse,
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
call us
got a
back if you need
visiting
us.
paramedic.
Exactly.
They've wanted
yeah.
to do that for years.
Yeah.
They
Correct.
do it in other parts of the
They
country.
do.
Yeah.
In other states,
We're a
that
little
the
behind.
government
Yeah.
doesn't have their
Yeah.
thumb
Mhm.
on you.
That's it. Yeah.
Weird.
Somebody's got to pay for that. That's all. Somebody's got to pay for it.
But it would be cheaper for
It
a
would be
paramedic
Yes.
much
than a
be
nurse.
cheaper for everybody. It'd be cheaper for the insurance companies. It'd be cheaper for the patient. It's a great program, I think. But again, somebody's got to pay for it.
Yeah,
They
but
gotta
if you're
work out the
screwing
logistics.
people over already, why do
Yeah.
you need to change the process?
It's true, because they're not paying. Damn it, they're not paying. That's all. So like I said, they cut the Medicaid funding. That's pretty rough. Medicare only pays X amount of dollars, which is not a lot of money at all. So Medicare,
Well, I mean, X
a lot of
isn't
our-
even a number.
correct.
So
Yeah. Ugh.
It was in my 8th grade algebra class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
They kept telling me to
go pay
solve
X
for it.
for that thing you want to buy at Walmart.
We-
We'll see how that goes.
We took the same 6th grade class. It wasn't very good. But if we do, we do a call. We're allowed to charge X amount of dollars. We'll say $500. Medicare pays $200. So
At least you get that.
yeah,
I
correct.
guess,
It's
yeah.
something. I absolutely agree with you. I'm not gonna complain about that.
I mean, you can write the rest off as a loss.
Yeah, but
We
they're a non-profit.
Yeah,
Write
yeah.
everything off
we try.
They don't
to.
pay
What do you mean we
taxes.
try to? But
as a whole.
how do we justify a loss on something that was paid versus how much did we actually lose? So I don't know the logistics behind that, because
Yeah, I figured.
numbers. We just make everybody else pay for it. So you know,
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
socialized medicine. Is
Yes.
that what-
Well,
Let's go to
You'll be,
Canada.
making,
there.
you'll be making less if we go to socialized medicine. If that's
I'm not saying
if
go to
that's
that.
even possible.
Let's go to Canada.
Well, this has been super interesting.
Are we done? I just
No, we're
All
not. We're
right,
done.
I still got a half a bottle. There's so much more to swear about.
Oh, that was one serving. Keith. Okay.
I'm paid by the hour. Let's go.
From who? You just told us you don't get paid.
I don't get paid from you guys. Yeah. The government I've been insulting pays me.
Perfect.
Actually, I just did a class the other day up at the Brooklyn Senior Center for
Oh yeah.
for the more experienced people of life, the more
More
life experienced people. Is
Nice.
that good? Yeah.
Yeah.
The old fogies. Yeah.
And then you
Oh, there goes the other one. There goes our last viewer. No, so I did a just kind of a first aid, what to do in case of an emergency type thing, because it's all about community outreach. It really
Yeah.
is. I'm a big proponent of teaching CPR and teaching, what can we do to help.
I
'Cause
believe I had a
that's what
family
I am.
member at that class.
You did
I
have.
did.
Yeah, speaking of that, you absolutely did.
he
Yeah.
said it was hysterical.
I've never been. Yeah. That's not what he told me.
If we could-
Yeah.
If we can promote your class in
Yes.
any way, you will laugh.
Yeah.
You may not come away with any
Yeah.
medical education.
You won't know anything. Yeah. But again, you just revert back to the podcast. You'll be great. Yeah. Like, I just want you to listen to this on the way to the hospital. You'll be fine. Like I said, those who can't do teach, and those who can't teach become chiefs. So, that's kind of where I landed where I am. Turns out I'm not very good at anything. That's,
So leadership,
yeah,
I get it.
Put me in the spot I'm at. If I can't make it as a chief, maybe I'll start a podcast. I don't know.
Not a whole
We'll
lot
see
of
where it
money.
goes.
Yeah, if you really want to see the bank account dry up.
Yeah. I really got to go back and watch your other 3 podcasts. I bet they're great. I bet they're fantastic. I bet they're awesome.
The last 3 aren't too bad.
We've gotten better.
Out of the 20.
Although this one, I feel like we took a nosedive. It's more because of the guests, not so much.
We're doing
Yeah,
so well.
yeah, we were doing entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
and now
oh,
we've
geez.
made a switch to
Yeah,
this
so-
guy.
I am an entrepreneur. Crack cocaine. Legalized.
Doesn't sell.
Yeah. But I really do enjoy what I do. I enjoy. I'm a people person. I don't know if you know this.
No, I
Oh
didn't,
yeah, I
I
don't
didn't
know
pick
if you
up
can
on
tell.
Could not tell.
I'm a people person, and I love the little old ladies in the back of the ambulance. I try to marry every one of them. And, try to get in their will as quickly as I can, because most of them are dying. I carry last will and testaments with me. Like, I need you to sign it. It's your HIPAA form. I need you to sign this really quick because you are dying. Oh. Yeah, it doesn't work. It hasn't worked
wrong.
yet. It hasn't worked yet. But I really do enjoy what I do. I really do. If I can honestly so that's what I say. We're there on somebody's worst day, right? It's not my emergency.
Right.
That's what we tell it.
Yeah.
It's not my emergency. We're there to help. It's not my emergency, but I will be there to help. That's what it comes down to. If I can help you, if I can help the person who has the emergency, or even a family member who's experiencing, what their family member having the emergency is. If I can be there, I'm happy to be there. That's what it comes down to. I've been through it, so I try to express or show empathy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You show
be able to
empathy.
help. Yes, believe it or not, I am an actor. I am an actor. I went to Berkeley. Yes. I didn't go to school. I didn't even graduate high school, so that just goes to show you. Yeah. I did. It was Plainfield.
I was gonna say I know
Yeah,
you better
I
than
did
that.
it at Plainfield.
Did they get discredited? No.
Yeah. I went to Ellis after that, though. I did. Became a rectrician.
You went to Ellis as a postgrad?
I did. I did.
Oh.
Picked up a trade. Not a very good one.
Electrician.
Yeah, I did.
I would imagine that's application to the real world.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
where that
Yeah,
failed.
I'll tell you what.
If you,
You want to learn about the real world? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you one thing, okay? One thing. Let me tell you one thing, okay? You want to learn about the real? Work in a warehouse right out of high school. That'll prepare you for the
I
real
worked
world.
at a warehouse in high school
Yes, sir.
part time. Yes,
That
did
that explains a lot. Actually, that explains a lot. It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I learned a lot.
It's kind of the same conversation
yes.
about you in jail.
Yes.
No, I honestly, I actually didn't mind it. It was only time.
Oh, it's my favorite.
It was only when they assigned me tasks where I was alone. That's the only time I don't like it.
Shocking.
Yeah.
That is incredibly
Yeah.
Like
shocking.
if there's no one,
You're in a corner.
if
crawling.
there's no one at your side to shoot the BS
Yeah.
with, is really not worth going to for me.
What warehouse do you work in?
I don't know if
Did
I
we
should
talk about
say.
this?
I'd
Yeah.
love to
Did we
have
talk
him on
about
here.
this?
It wasn't long. It was at the end of senior year because you had to be 18 to pick stuff and put it in a box.
Yeah. He was a picker somewhere. Let's see. Narrows it down.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually, and then
Well,
I worked.
my first warehouse doesn't exist anymore, so not
Oh.
technically. Not technically.
Not technically, got
Yeah.
bought out or something.
Yeah, correct.
probably.
Exactly. Twice.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. The one.
I sucked at my job. I don't know what to tell you.
The one that I worked at, I would love to have the guy
Mhm.
or whoever or the board on the podcast.
Get him
That'd
out of
be
here. Let's
cool.
go.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Anonymous from the warehouse we can't name. Next
Do you
week,
remember my
yes, do
name
you
when I
remember
was
that?
employed
Yes,
for
do you
3 days a
remember
week,
that? Yes, yes.
3 nights a week?
He was the one that was crying in the corner when you put him alone. He couldn't take it. Yeah, that was the one.
Oh, my phone's ringing.
There it is. Wow. That's just me calling. No, I worked at Brooks Distribution. That was my first one. That was
Gotcha.
Brooks,
Yeah.
Brooks Pharmacy?
Brooks, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it existed, exactly.
Yeah.
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 Oh.
Yeah, I worked at Unify. They were
Ah,
awesome.
We were
They
right next door.
Were we?
Look
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah, just my senior year would have been your 6th or 7th time in the 8th grade. Right?
That's accurate. You laugh about that, but that's not funny. It's not that funny, man.
That's why you're an E EMT.
Yeah. That is why I'm poor life choices. That's
You're
where
only
we are.
instructor certified.
Yes.
Not a license.
I'm here to teach you.
Kyle
Ky-
just
Ky-
snorted.
Kyle's gonna take EMT again. He's like, sign me back up. I'm gonna
Never.
take that class.
Not even with
That's
you.
awesome. That's an awesome class. Let's go.
Yes, I don't know if this podcast worked to really engage
Yeah,
people
yeah.
that want to be.
They're gonna.
We need more
ropes.
volunteers.
Yeah.
No, I've been at your house with your family life, and it definitely shows that you've given your life to service of others, and I don't know. There's a lot of happiness in your house.
I think so.
I'd
I
say.
think so.
High
That's not
High
just the
level.
drugs.
Is it usually when you're at work that there's happiness?
So
Oh,
let's go to work.
I've
yay!
been at the office
Yeah,
too. Where
yeah.
It's mediocre level.
Yeah, they're okay. Yeah, they're just okay.
It's still work. I mean, come on, people. We're human.
No, I beat my kids a lot, so that's how I deal. I hit
In
them
a race.
lot. No, physically, yeah. No, I hit them a lot.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Now Gavin hits me back. It hurts a lot. I'm gonna have to start hitting Mackenzie. You know.
And Gavin has pipes now.
Yeah,
so-
right. Oh.
He works in plumbing.
Yeah, I get it. I see what you did there. Oh, yo.
Dad joke. Dad joke alert.
I tell you, no, they're great. They are great. They got my personality with the mother's looks. They'll do
Thank
well
God
in life.
for that.
Thank God. Thank God. I do agree. Yep.
We also have this picture of you.
Oh yeah.
Show the slide. So
Get it? I've had. Let's just say I've had worse pictures going around the internet. So nope, that's not. That's about what you look like. Actually. What a coincidence. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
I didn't even recognize you when you came in.
Right. Yeah.
Glasses, fedora, no shaving or whipped cream.
Funny story. They don't actually give you a job after those interviews. I don't know. Go figure. I walked out of the interview looking just like that. No job. No job. Yeah. Listen, if your followers know what I'm talking about there, call me. You'll be a great EMT.
All right, you want to talk to us about this picture and what really happened that day?
I wish I could remember. I was so drunk. It was at it was actually at Shepherd Hill Elementary School. That's how drunk I was.
Yep. So you were around school children for this picture.
yes. So what it was? No, it was a. I got some friends on the PTA. I don't know what they call it anymore, but they asked if the ambulance organization would be interested in participating in this event, and it was a fundraiser for our friends of Asai. No, Project Pin. Project
Yep,
Pin, that's
in
right. It
Livingston.
was a fundraiser for Project
The
Pin.
food bank.
And the highest, the kids that raised the highest amount of money could put a pie in whoever space they wanted to. They had some administrators up there. They had some volunteers up there, myself.
And you were the only one. The kids just all attacked
That
you.
kid, I tell you what, man, I think he plays baseball. Like, he was gentle. I will say, soft hands. I was very happy. Like, you'd be surprised with the amount of cream on my face, but there was no cream left in that tray.
Yeah.
He went to town. It was
Really
gentle,
smeared it.
though. It was gentle. I'm not, there's no bloody nose or anything. I'm like, this kid's gonna take my head off my shoulders. He was a big dude. But so the kids had the choice on who they were gonna pie, and this strapping young man decided he was gonna pie me in the face. But I was happy to do it. I was absolutely happy to volunteer to assist with this, because Project Pin's a phenomenal organization.
Yeah.
What they do, I stand behind 100%. One of the big things we do with the ambulance is every Christmas, around Christmas time, we fill the ambulance at the Plainfield Emergency Care Center. And one of the paramedic techs, Gina Savastosky, and the nurse manager Amanda down there, they started this program to fill the ambulance. So last year we were able to fill one ambulance. This year we filled two.
Nice.
We did phenomenal.
Nice.
It was a phenomenal job.
With food,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We did food and
That's
toys.
great.
So
food and
So
toys.
one we did food. The other one we did toys. The toys and clothes got donated to the Plainfield Rec Center for
Yeah.
underprivileged, and the food got donated to Project Pin. So
That's
it
awesome.
was fantastic. So any opportunity to volunteer and help, I'm more than happy.
Yeah.
We did a ride in an ambulance where the kids were able to ride one of the days to school in an ambulance, fire
Oh,
truck, and a
cool.
police car. So I had a child ride in the ambulance to school to Shepherd Hill, so that was a good time. But this one in particular was a strappy young lad with a giant pie container full of cream, and he went to town. He made sure there was none left inside that
Well,
container.
you only get
Yeah.
to do it once.
Yeah, I looked
That's
around,
once
and
in a lifetime.
Some people had a little bit of dribble, a little bit of pie on their shirt. I'm just smeared. I'm smeared in cream. It was delicious too.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, but I enjoy doing anything I could do to help. Absolutely. In
Yeah.
Shepherd Hill, I was third grade when Shepherd Hill opened up.
Okay.
Third grade.
Yeah, same
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Yeah, that's when they split everybody.
Yep, correct.
So I went to the memorial school.
Oh, I was Moosup Elementary.
Yeah,
Yep.
a lot of kids got split from the Plainfield Grammar School.
Nice,
Did
nice.
I say that right? Grammar?
Yeah.
Grandma? Grandma.
Plainfield Grandma School.
Yeah, they said how bad the school was, got a new school, and now that school still stands to this day.
They just opened the time capsule actually last
Oh,
year.
yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, and they opened the time capsule for Moosup Elementary, I think 2 years ago.
Mhm.
I was there for that.
Wow.
I was actually there when they put it into the ground.
What was in there?
I don't remember. Yeah, toilet paper. No.
You're like me. You
Actually,
remember
yeah,
the
yeah,
event.
yes,
That was
yeah.
fun, but
No, I got took a lot of pictures. It's on my face, on my book of face. But it was funny. I was looking at the stuff that I'd written down that I put into that time capsule. I'm like, I don't remember any of this crap. Like, I didn't write that. This is stupid. Like, favorite thing to do, Brooklyn Fair. I hate the Brooklyn Fair.
so you
I mean, I love the Brooklyn Fair. Yeah.
so you actually had stuff in
I
it.
did.
You
Yeah,
put it.
I was at
Oh,
Moosup.
wow.
I was at Moosup Elementary when they buried that, and then I was at Shepherd Hill Elementary when they buried their time capsule.
That's cool.
I like to get around.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all.
I heard that about you.
Yep, I like to get around. Yep. So this was me. I donated my body. I donated my body to Project Pin. You're welcome. They actually lost money.
It
What
does
can you
not
do? Yeah.
surprise me.
What can you do? Take it out of the ambulance.
Lost
fund. I don't
money,
know what to
lost
tell you.
followers, just like this podcast for us. Thanks,
Yeah.
buddy. You're just spreading it around.
How do you get negative followers?
Yeah, I was just gonna say we did get
Yeah.
negative. They've asked us to follow them.
How does that happen?
You're not even engaged anymore. You're looking at pictures on your watch.
I just-
This
I'm
is
seeing-
him on duty.
I was honestly
He's
seeing
getting a
if
call.
anybody was actually watching the podcast, but it's not. It was not. Like, hey, Will, you sound great. Nope. No.
Well, where can people reach you if they want to take a class from you?
911.
That's a real trial by
Yeah, yeah,
fire
yeah.
class in the back of the ambulance.
911. No, you had my card on
Yeah,
the picture,
we did.
but that's my number. I'm on duty all the time, so you just call that number, and I'm more than happy. There'll be flyers for the EMR class. An EMT class will follow that come midsummer or early summer.
You can just
Unknown.
show up,
Yeah.
just find the
That's how
shed
we roll,
place,
baby.
and they'll
Let's
they'll
go.
find you.
So as the regional this organization we're trying to create this kind of regional training thing. We don't exactly have like a regional training center right now. So
Okay.
we're bouncing around from fire department to fire. Whoever will have us.
Yeah,
With
host.
with
yeah,
with our instructors. So I think that'll work out better because that gives people an idea of what's around. They get to see different people at different places and get to meet. They're getting into this industry. It's good to get
Right.
put
yeah.
faces down and really meet people. And no overhead for me, so works out pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my phone number was on there. Call me anytime. Call me.
And
There'll be flyers out.
Moose Up Ambulance has a Facebook.
We do. Yeah.
What's it
American
called?
Legion Ambulance Fund.
Nice.
Post 91, because that was
Post
the
91.
Legion. Yeah.
Yeah.
American Legion Ambulance. Yeah. American
cool.
Legion Post 91.
That's cool to know the affiliation. And
We still take part in VJ Day Parade.
VJ Day.
VJ
okay,
Day, yeah, because
nice.
Moose Up Plainfield is the only one of the only towns, last towns that partake in the VJ Day. There's not too many people that do VJ
Rhode
Day
Island
anymore.
still gives a lot of businesses the day off. They're the only,
Wow,
yeah,
really?
they're actually the only state in the country that
Nice.
recognizes VJ Day.
Nice.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, and you
That is
shit on
crazy.
Rhode Island. Look
Yeah,
at that.
yeah.
We got an extra day off.
Yeah, one
Calm
day,
down
yeah,
about your
sorry,
little
I didn't-
town
yeah.
called Rhode Island.
I'm sorry, I take it back.
I don't. I meant every word.
But Kyle, so you got out of EMS? I was
Yeah.
kind of curious about this.
Yeah, so I started in 2007 and I worked a lot. I worked like
Yeah.
over 80 hours a week.
Mhm.
And then in 2011 I had an opportunity to take a full-time position building EMRs, so like medical software.
Mhm.
So I did that, and then obviously didn't make enough money, so still worked on the ambulance overnight.
Good, yes, that's what we do. That's what we like to do. We pull them in. Hey, you can't leave. We got you. We got you.
So then, just over years and experience, I ended up jumping ship from that company and took a job at a hospital in Connecticut that paid more money and allowed me to work less, and just slowly kind of inched my way out of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just come back to American Legion Ambulance.
So yeah, I do have a bit of
Yeah.
PTSD having these conversations.
yeah. Like to introduce you to my new EMR driver. He's gonna do a great job. Great news, he's not a woman. Though he's from Rhode Island, so I'm still questioning. Yeah.
The Community Workbench podcast does not take on the opinion of any of our guests.
So yeah, yeah, I mean, it
You
was.
miss it?
I miss the medical aspect of it, and I'm sure you know what I mean.
I do.
But the rest of it, no. And it
Say
changed.
the bullshit.
Yeah,
There's so
it
much.
it
There's-
changed a lot
Yeah.
over the course of even just the years I was in it, and just the scrutiny and it's just you couldn't just do your job anymore, and that was frustrating. It was
Yeah.
like there were all these hoops you had to jump through to do basic things, and it just, one one bad apple ruins a bunch, and that industry, man. Oh man, you got a patient that's all the way up on the stretcher, and they tip the stretcher.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it doesn't take long for OEMS to come out and say, "Okay, we're rolling everybody halfway up now." But it happened with everything, right?
Right.
And so I just was like, I've abused my body too much.
Yeah,
I need
that's the truth,
to.
right?
I need to just get out. And so I just sort of
Good.
creep my way out. And then I was like, all right, my recert's coming. What am I going to do? Do I want to
Yeah.
stay in? I was like, if I recert, I'm going to keep my foot in the door.
Mhm.
So I was like,
Right.
I'm not recerting. I'm not doing it because then yeah.
I got you.
I think there are people that can handle it long term. I am not one of them, but I also worked a lot, and I wanted to be home with the kids, and I wanted to be able to do those things. And in that industry, not making any money,
I agree.
the only way you make it is hours.
Working. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do it because I don't want to be home with the kids.
See that? They're grateful for
That's
that.
why yes, you've met them. Yeah.
No, I've met you.
Oh wow, that is
Yeah.
rough.
It's the best podcast I've ever been on. The best basement podcast I've ever been on.
Number one. in
Yes,
my
number
basement.
one. But I
that's
I
funny.
feel everything you say in my bones. I
Yeah.
tell you, I do,
Yeah.
I do. But I don't know if I could do I could do other things.
You could
but
do
I
other
like-
things, maybe, but it would, the aspect of helping people,
Yeah,
I think, would
yeah.
have to still be there.
I agree.
And he's a software guy.
Yeah, he's a
Well,
software
it just
guy.
it well
He's a
hey,
He
techie.
avoids
But see,
every
that's-
phone call.
That's the thing is like that's where the bullshit though got in the way,
right.
right? Of just
That's
I
true.
just want
I
to
just
go
take care
help
of
people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just want to take care of people.
that's all I want to
Leave me
do.
alone.
Exactly. And then it just the bullshit got in the way, and then it became, well, we
All right.
can't pay our bills,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're gonna have to do
Been there.
this or do that, and so it's just like. Once that all started happening, and it was like, okay, this is deviated from a lot of what I
Yeah.
signed up for. All right, let's see what else is out there.
And I will remind everybody, he worked in Massachusetts.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
Rhode Island.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Yes.
No, Rhode Island too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It was Rhode Island that killed
Yeah,
him.
it's cardiac
Yeah,
Rhode Island.
that's right, the cardiac in Rhode Island. Yeah, uh-huh.
But yeah, everybody join in, volunteer.
Yeah, come volunteer.
Volunteer local.
Come to Musa Baby.
always say.
We have a great time. We really do. It's a good spot. Nope, I do. I got a great group of people. I really do. But they got a great boss, so it's hard hard not to have a good group of people without
You're
a
not
great
a-
boss.
Not
I'm saying.
ashamed of
Starts from the top.
self-promotion.
It starts from the
Can't
top.
be. Can't be. The government's not going to do it.
Just saying, yeah. Yeah. Slap myself on the back. Talk myself up.
So what do you think? Anything else to add
Boy.
to this dying podcast that
Got it.
needs
Yeah.
paramedic services?
I will do CPR to this podcast before we leave. Oh,
Can they? Will you go out? Like if somebody? Well, you're at the nursing home in Brooklyn. Will you contract out your educational service?
so I went to the senior. Yeah, all it takes is a phone call. Hey,
Put his card
you
back
come
up.
down. Yep, put my car back over there. Not that picture. Oh, for Kurt.
I
No,
don't have it
keep
on
that
it.
picture.
It's not
Actually,
on
hold on a sec. Yeah. I have, and we do. So Musa Bay Ambulance, one of the things I've done, we've become what we call an American Heart Association training center. So anybody who wants to become CPR certified or any of the American Heart Association classes and CPR, ACLS, PALS, those are the advanced classes we do. First aid, basic first aid, CPR. I do the first aid classes for the Plainfield Little League. I've done that. I've done first aid classes for EastCon, a lot of the teachers. So I do a lot of teaching. I do enjoy teaching.
Yeah.
I do, and I promise I'm okay at it. I mean, don't worry about this podcast. I'm all right. I'm an okay teacher.
No,
I promise.
I've had other people that
Yes.
have gone through classes. In all seriousness.
I know a little bit about what I'm talking about.
Get people engaged,
Yeah.
Especially with laughter. and
I do
stuff,
do
so
enjoy it. I really
makes
do.
it easier to learn.
I'm passionate about. That's what it is. I'm passionate about what I teach because I believe in it.
Yeah.
When I teach CPR, when I teach first aid, when I teach things, I'm teaching to make a difference. So I'm very passionate. So I'm very engaging. I'm very animated.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I try not to swear. I do my best. My father gave me a lot of things. A good way to use curse words was one of them. So that's that's just who I am. I like to bring that to the community. So I did that at the Brooklyn Community, the senior center, and they really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed. There was a lot of them there. I tell you, I don't know that many left alive, but there's a good amount of people. I tell you, there's a good amount of people in that room. I thought I'd have to call an ambulance. But, no, they were great. They had some phenomenal questions. Some great. That's what it is, right? When people are engaged with you,
And they start asking
you
questions.
give so much back. Boy, it gets really good. So we teach all those classes, babysitting. Do a lot of babysitting. Don't let me love kids. We do a lot of those classes, so it's great. So anytime anybody wants classes or anybody who's interested in education, or if I don't do it or I'm not available, I absolutely will send you the right way, right? I'll put you in the right direction. And that's the same with anybody who wants to volunteer. If you're not from Moose Up or Plainfield or the area and you're interested in getting involved and you don't know where to start, I will be more than happy. I know everybody everywhere. Believe
Yeah,
me,
you have
I've been doing
networked
this a long
lot.
time.
Yeah.
I know. I literally know.
like-
I've been on every ambulance this side of the river. That's what I
Yeah.
tell everybody.
Any
I've been,
first responder in this area knows
You
who
know,
Will Jeff
yeah,
is.
Yeah, we
Good,
couldn't
bad,
get
or
it.
indifferent.
We couldn't get any of them to watch.
Yeah. That's why nobody's tuning in. So, I will absolutely put you on the right path, and the same with employment. If you're looking for a job, and I could absolutely help you out. So I work full time at Moose Up, but I'm still part time at KB, and I'm still part time at American, and I'm still part time at Mohegan Tribe. I am.
That's awesome.
I work everywhere. I just don't know how to say no.
Are you still a volunteer firefighter?
And I volunteer
I
at
was
East
gonna say.
Killingly Fire Department.
Okay.
I'm still a fire department. I'm still a firefighter. They have training right now, and I'm getting tested. Where are you?
Oh, you're supposed to be there?
Yeah, man. There are probably more people at that training than watching this podcast. But
Maybe you should text them, tell them to tune in.
Yeah. You should have put it on.
We're gonna watch a short training video today.
I still do that. So I do. I still do a lot. And then on top of that, I'm the umpire in chief for the Killingly Little League, and I've been coaching my little guy all the way up. So I've been doing. I like to be involved. I like to do
Wow.
things. Like to help out. That's
Yeah.
just where I am.
Definitely shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's amazing we even got time to
Yeah, I
bring
can't
it
believe
on
it either.
here.
No, I'm just glad Beyonce canceled it. I'm so glad that country album came out. She's doing that tour.
Wait a minute. Beyonce came out with a country album?
Yeah.
Did she really?
I guess it's good. I don't know. I haven't heard it.
Well,
No.
okay.
Yep. I don't listen to it.
We're going to end this podcast.
okay,
We can go
yeah.
listen to Beyonce's country album.
Yes, yeah. I guess it's a good song. I don't know.
Really, from the bottom of my heart, Will, thank you for coming on. Thank you for having, the wit and will to come here.
I can honestly say it was my pleasure. It really was my pleasure, honestly. You guys have been great hosts, I gotta say. It was great chatting with you. Oh, man, I'll be back next week to embarrass somebody. If you're not kicked off, that is. I'll see if I can get you kicked off
we're
next week.
probably canceled by the
Yeah,
time.
yes. Yeah. No, we'll make it happen. We'll see what we can do to fix that. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, just not have you back. All right, everyone.
Yeah.
The Community Workbench Podcast family wants to remind everyone to
Spread the
Remember-
love.
spread the love.
And the love.
Valentine's Day season, spread the love food drive campaign. If you can, consider donating foods and other goods and amenities to Brooklyn Cares Community Center, Friends of Assisi Food Pantry in Danielson, Daily Bread in Putnam, Teague and Thompson, Project Pin in Moose Up, the two Willimantic Soup Kitchens. Anywhere you are, you just give it a Google and you'll find a food pantry that is got a lot of volunteers working hard to make sure no one goes hungry. And of course, join us Monday, March 11th at 6 p.m. when we interview the owners of Black Pond Brewery.
I should have come for that one.
Corey and Mike will be here, and we'll be talking about their amazing products
Will there be samples?
Their story of.
Will there be samples?
I believe there will. Be.
Oh, beer.
Kyle set this one up.
What a boy, God. Once a paramedic, always a paramedic.
We actually,
Boy.
this is one where we kept saying we would love to have them on, like 3 or 4 episodes
Yeah,
in a row.
they reached out to us.
They reached out.
They listen.
Corey, thank you.
Oh,
You
used
took
to.
you took the hint.
Corey, I'm a frequenter of the Black Pond. I love your products.
That's right. That's right down the road
That
from
is
your house.
right next to my house.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I stumble home all the time.
Oh, man. Uber, right?
No, it's stumbling. Right up 101. Yeah.
As always, buy local, hire local, dine local, volunteer local, and donate local. Have great days, everybody.